Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating idea. Basically, the hidden logic your brain uses every single time you decide to buy something. We're on a quest to find the perfect purchase.
So think about it. This is the problem we all face, right? You've got a limited amount of cash, but the world is full of things you could buy. So how do you choose? How do you spend that money to get the absolute most happiness? Well, there's actually a name for this puzzle and a solution. It's called consumer's equilibrium.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the shopper's dilemma. Then, we'll talk about how economists try to score satisfaction. After that, we'll figure out the sweet spot for buying just one thing. Then we'll level up to the ultimate balancing act between multiple items. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a smart spending formula you can actually think about. Okay, let's get right into it. The core conflict. Every single one of us, with every dollar we have, is trying to squeeze out the absolute maximum amount of happiness or satisfaction possible. That right there, that's the universal shopper's dilemma. This is our goal. Consumer's equilibrium is that magic moment, that feeling when you look at what you bought and how much you spent, and you just think, yep, I nailed it. You found the perfect balance. You wouldn't change a thing. It is the ultimate spending sweet spot. So to find this sweet spot, we need a way to measure happiness. And I know, that sounds kind of weird, right? How do you put a number on joy? Well, let's look at the tool economists use and the one crucial rule that shapes all our decisions. The secret ingredient here is something called utility. Now, that sounds all academic, but it's really just a word for the satisfaction you get from something. Simple enough. But our story has a villain, and it's called the law of diminishing marginal utility. Basically, it says that the more you have of something, the less satisfaction you get from each new one. Think about it like this. You're starving and you order a pizza. That first slice, it is amazing. That's super high utility. The second slice is still pretty great. But by the time you're on your 10th slice, yeah, not so much. You might even feel a little sick. The extra satisfaction you got from that last slice went way down. This one idea is why we don't just spend all our money on one thing. All right, so let's start with a simple scenario. Let's say you're only thinking about buying one type of thing. How do you know when to stop? How do you find that perfect point of equilibrium? Okay, let's walk through this table. Imagine something costs $10. The very first one you buy gives you $30 worth of satisfaction, or utility. That's a fantastic deal, so of course you buy it. The second one gives you $20 worth of satisfaction for that same $10. Still a good deal, so you buy that one too. But look at what happens with the third one. The satisfaction you get is now exactly $10, which is the same as the price. That's it. That's your equilibrium point. If you were to buy a fourth, you'd only get $0 of satisfaction, meaning you'd be losing money on the deal. So you stop at 3. And boom, there it is. The golden rule for a single item. You keep buying until the satisfaction you get from the very last one you bought is exactly equal to its price. Simple as out. Okay, that's great for one item, but let's be real, life is almost never that simple. We're always choosing between different things, right? A coffee or a tea, go to the movies or buy a book. So let's level up and talk about how to balance two different purchases. This brings in a new rule, the law of equimarginal utility. I know, it sounds super complicated, but the idea behind it is actually incredibly simple. The goal is just to get the most satisfaction per dollar, the best bang for your buck, across everything you buy. And this is the ultimate formula that your brain is trying to solve. It might look like a bunch of letters, but all it's asking is this. Is the satisfaction I get per dollar from item X the same as the satisfaction I get per dollar from item Y? When the answer is yes, you've reached equilibrium. So what if they're not equal? Well, your brain automatically starts making adjustments. Let's say you're getting way more satisfaction per dollar from your coffee than from a croissant. What do? Well, you start buying more coffee and fewer croissants. And as you do that, the satisfaction from each extra coffee starts to drop, remember? And the satisfaction from those croissants you're giving up starts to seem higher. You keep adjusting until, eventually, everything is perfectly balanced again. All right, let's bring all this home. Let's combine these two big ideas into a simple, practical formula you can use to think about your own spending. Here it is, your two-step checklist for the perfect purchase. Condition 1, is your satisfaction per dollar the same for the things you're choosing between? And condition 2, is the law of diminishing marginal utility actually happening? Meaning, is your satisfaction falling as you get more of something? If you can say yes to both, congratulations. You've hit consumer's equilibrium.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. This is the code that's running in the background of your brain every time you're at the grocery store, every time you're scrolling online. It's the hidden formula behind every single choice you make. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know the secret formula for a perfect purchase, take a look at your only spending habits. How often do you think you're really hitting that perfect balance? And when you're not, what do you think is throwing you off? That's something to think about. Thanks for watching.